Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on a Thursday afternoon. It's truly our pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille Network. We are live in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, in Crozet, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. It's great to be with you on a Thursday. Today's show is absolutely loaded with local content. I'm going to highlight on today's program 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 businesses and brands that are on the market in a for sale capacity literally right now. Some of these have real estate that is packaged and included with the for sale listing. Others are selling intellectual property, customer lists, inventory, and furniture, fixtures, and equipment. We are going to spotlight on the I Love CVille Network, and we are going to do and give even more attention to the marketplace of business transactions. Founders, partners, families, owners, limited partners, the ecosystem of businesses in Central Virginia and in the Shenandoah Valley, and their founders and their partners and the people behind the scenes looking to exit the businesses. I'm going to highlight nearly 10 of them today on the I Love CVille Show. Brands and businesses that are beloved in this community. And I'm going to highlight asking prices, gross revenues, cash flows, inventory, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and real estate values on the program. It is going to be a fixture on this show, as I personally will go deep into this space and allocate even more of my attention on it. Samantha Brunelle, yes. Did I say Katie Neil Williamson? Katie is her mom. Good catch there, Neil Williamson. If you could change the headlines over there, that was my mistake. It's Sam Brunelle, not Katie Brunelle. Katie Brunelle is the former coach of Orange County High School. Yeah, Sam instead of Katie. Former coach of Orange County High School, now an executive in the Wee Monroe school system. First met Katie Brunelle when she was coaching in the Jefferson District, and I was fresh out of the University of Virginia as a sports writer under Jerry Hootie Ratcliffe of the Daily Progress. Finished my career at the Daily Progress as the youngest editor in the history of the newspaper, barely 24 years old. Sam Brunelle, Katie's daughter, has entered the transfer portal. That topic will be on today's show. We will also highlight marshals leaving the city of Charlottesville for Albemarle County, going from one shopping center in city limits to another shopping center in county limits. We will highlight not only the impact this will have on Southside Charlottesville and 5th Street Station, but also on the tax base that's lost in the city of Charlottesville and gained by Albemarle County. Kelly Jackson on yesterday's program, she's A+ people. Kelly, if you're watching, give the show a like and a share so we know you're watching here. She did a fantastic job yesterday. I'm always enlightened by Kelly Jackson when she comes on the show. And she informed the community, and she knows because she has a Panera Bread in 5th Street Station, is a key tenant of 5th Street Station, Panera Bread. She's like, you know what? Marshall's is going over here. Okay? So this is a significant loss for the city tax base. This is a significant gain for the businesses in 5th Street Station. There will undoubtedly be more customer traffic and flow in 5th Street Station with a Marshall's when compared to AC Moore. I've done some back channeling with people in the know, and I'm being told that this will be Marshall's only location in Charlottesville and Albemarle County, the 5th Street Station. Now, I also want to highlight, I think this will potentially cause even more traffic congestion on 5th Street. Kelly Jackson is watching. KJ, ¿qué pasa, chico? You broke a little news last night or yesterday afternoon on the program. We appreciate you watching the program, KJ, and participating and joining us yesterday. Panera Bread, locally owned, making a big-time impact for families and helping fund trips to Disney World. I mean, it was just a beautiful story. So Marshalls and Fifth Street Station is good for every business in Fifth Street Station. It's good for Albemarle County's tax base. It is bad for City of Charlottesville's tax base. I will highlight, it will also cause more traffic on Fifth Street, a corridor that is already congested with traffic, and that's fact and safe to say. So that topic on today's program, my friends. We will highlight Lloyd Snook, who in passing, I mean, and I'm shocked that this was not made more of from a headline standpoint. And I think the Daily Progress does a hell of a job. Allison Rabel is phenomenal. Catherine Knott is phenomenal. Ginny Bixby is phenomenal. That staff, John Shiflett, the sports editor, is phenomenal. I mean, they do, that paper and that staff does more with less than just about any other newspaper in the country. And we are lucky to have them. I am a full subscriber of the Daily Progress. I believe it's like $29.95 a month I'm paying for the Daily Progress. And I love it. I'm a news junkie. But in Ginny Bixby's story that was in the paper today, the headline was "City and County Officials Commit to Affordable Housing Social Initiatives." It was essentially a stakeholders meeting of Charlottesville and Albemarle County officials at Impact, an interfaith social justice organization. 200 people gathered in person at the event at the Church of Incarnation, with about 400 people participating virtually, a tremendously engaged audience. Lloyd Snook made some comments that for me, this is the lead in the story, maybe two stories. Maybe Snook's comments at the least are a pull-out sidebar that's 10 to 12 inches of copy. Now it's word count. When I was writing for the paper, it was inch count. But Snook says, and I'll read verbatim from Bixby's story, I'm all in favor, quote, of $3 million for affordable housing, but a number on a budget isn't a commitment. A number on a budget, for example, did not survive COVID. I don't like being asked to make commitments that later circumstances may prove unwise. We're going to spend that kind of money on new projects, but if you want a commitment, if you want a promise, if you want something you can take to the bank and then yell at me when I run for re-election, I don't want to give that to you because that's not how government works, end quote. Dude, the dude said, Mayor Snook, 25 feet, his office, his law firm, 30 feet down the hallway from this studio. I see Mayor Snook almost every day. Mayor Snook, you watch this program often. I have the tremendous respect for you, and I love when you come on the show, sir. You are my friend. You're my friend. Snook, Mayor Snook says in the story, and if you yell at me when I run for re-election, did he just announce in passing his candidacy for re-election for Charlottesville City Council? I'll reach out to the mayor and see if we can welcome on the program next week. We'll talk about that on today's show. I also need to highlight Michael Payne's Facebook post. Michael Payne, if you're watching the program, please realize that I also have big-time respect for you. Big-time respect. I think you're a hell of a leader, Michael Payne. You're a fantastic writer, Michael Payne. That William and Mary degree has served you well from a writing and communication standpoint. Dude, you know how to communicate and write. Our politics don't align. Our politics do not align, Michael Payne, for the most part. Some parts they do. But I think you are an asset to this community, sir. And the posts that you're doing on social media to offer enlightenment for the community, especially during budget season, I think they're incredibly important and valuable. And Michael Payne yesterday, he's a night owl. Michael Payne, I think it's safe to characterize you as a night owl, right, my friend? His post yesterday was, I don't know, 18, 19 paragraphs long. It was pretty detailed, talking about the budget, and council's in a budget work session today. So we'll talk and highlight Michael Payne's Facebook post. If you hadn't had a chance to read it, get over it and check it out right now. And Payne, great job well done with this. So a lot we're going to cover on today's program. We'll also highlight Sam Brunelle's transfer from Notre Dame. I would encourage, implore almost demand respectfully that the University of Virginia women's basketball team go after Sam Brunelle with a vengeance. The women's basketball program, Debbie Ryan is the Hall of Fame coach. And since Debbie Ryan retired years ago, we've had a couple of coaches at UVA women's basketball who have not lived up to Debbie Ryan's reputation. And frankly speaking, the University of Virginia made a mistake when it did not hire Tim Taylor to replace Debbie Ryan. Tim Taylor, if you're watching the program, he's the coach at Navy right now. Dude, I love you. You're a baller. You're a beast. You know X's and O's. You know how to recruit. I fell in love with Tim Taylor. Someone tag Tim Taylor. Tag Tim Taylor, and please let him know I'm giving him props right now. I fell in love with Tim Taylor when he was the boys basketball coach at Orange County High School, and he was coaching Bradley Starks and TJ Miner and Asa Chapman and Quentin Hunter. And this coach, Tim Taylor, took the Orange County Hornets to a state championship appearance. They lost the game. But still, it was a run that was magical and captivated Central Virginia. And I realized then, good night, Tim Taylor is bona fide and a beast. He should have been the replacement of Debbie Ryan. We all say Dawn Staley. Everyone mentions Dawn Staley. The reality is, A, UVA cannot afford Dawn Staley, and B, why would Dawn Staley ever leave the South Carolina Gamecocks, where she takes a couple of loaves of bread and a few fishes and feeds the thousands while walking on water in a cloaked white robe? I mean, Dawn Staley is a golden god at South Carolina with the Gamecocks. So it's just unlikely that she would have ever replaced Debbie Ryan. Tim Taylor was the pick. Now we're in our third coach since Debbie Ryan retired, a coach that was announced earlier this week. I hope the administration and the new women's basketball coach at the University of Virginia makes a sprint for Greene County and Sam Brunelle. Local gal, super talented, ACC talent, yes, plagued by injuries, but a 2 years left of eligibility that you can build a program around, and you could put butts in seats at the John Paul Jones Arena, and there are empty seats galore during women's basketball games. We'll talk about that on the program. I was sent by my friend Ray Cadell. Ray Cadell, are you watching the show, my friend? Big Ray and the Cool Cats. If you're watching, let us know. Love Big Ray and the Cool Cats. Love Ray Cadell. Hell of a broadcaster if you wanted to be Ray Cadell. The best horn player in the Commonwealth, Ray Cadell. A realtor, a broker, a front man for a band, an MC, a man who books bands, other bands besides his own, all over the world. An aficionado of food, Ray Cadell. If you want suggestions or recommendations on damn good food in this community, you go to Ray Cadell. Dude's got skills. Dude, and I sincerely mean that. Ray, if you're watching, let us know. Give us a little pop, a little like, a little comment. But Ray Cadell sent me a Facebook message yesterday. And this is a reflection, first, that you guys, the viewers and listeners, can determine the pace and tempo of the show. The content we cover on the program is not just content sourced by me and Judah. It's content that's sourced by you guys, the viewers and listeners, in open source, crowdsourced fashion. Ray Cadell is watching. Good afternoon, my friend. He is watching. Best horn player in Virginia. And he sent me a screenshot that he found intriguing. And he understands the type of content we like to cover on the show. And I'm like, he sent it to me. He's like, I think Jerry would find this intriguing as well. And I did. There is a husband and wife and a family. Excuse me. There is, husband and wife is not the preferred nomenclature in 2022 when highlighting weddings. There are two people, partners to be, and their families that are advertising an open wedding date for May 14th. The open wedding date is at Veritas Vineyard, May 14th. Guys, that is 45 days away. May 14th. They took a screenshot of the signage at Veritas, and they wrote, Ray Cadell sent me this, and they put in the screenshot of the signage at Veritas Vineyard some copy points. And the copy points are, I'm reading it verbatim, Veritas Vineyard wedding date, May 14th for sale. They're trying to sell Judah a wedding date. Judah Whitcower is our fabulous director. Veritas Vineyard wedding date, May 14th for sale. Unfortunately, we have had to cancel our wedding and have all the vendors set up. Is vendors O-R-S? They misspelled vendors. They spelled it V-E-N-D-E-E-R-S instead of O-R-S. Still,
Won't be the first time somebody misspelled something.
I digress. That's the editor in me that's getting anal, and Judah can speak about me being anal retentive on certain things. So they say Judah, and we need to get, can we get a two-shot set up so people can see your handsome face? You're gonna have to get the microphone over here. You may wanna just get the microphone in your hand, since that might be easier. And go that way. May 14th, unfortunately, we have had to cancel our wedding and have all the vendors set up. Take over the venue and date, and we will give you a $5,000 credit toward the payment of those vendors. The vendors include a wedding photographer, Melodious?
What are you trying to say?
A Melodious string quartet.
Melodious, yeah.
A Melodious string quartet.
From the word melody.
A Melodious string quartet. Black Tie Entertainment. If my wife is watching, I believe that is Billy the DJ. Wasn't he Black Tie Entertainment? Can you text me that, sweetheart? I think he was Black Tie Entertainment, the DJ from Richmond. Willow Branch Flowers, and Incredible Edibles Bakery. So they got serious money on the line here. This is 5 figures for Veritas. Easily 5 figures, right, Ray Cadell? Easily 5 figures. I mean, ours, when it was all said and done, and I say this, I mean, it's even a tough pill to swallow now. We were fortunate in that my father-in-law and our mother-in-law were incredibly generous people. Our wedding, soup to nuts, I think the number was $65,000. 65K soup to nuts. And that was in 2000, I better get this right, she's watching. 2017, June 3rd, in Patricia Kluge's old house, Trump Winery. This is before Trump was the president of the United States. Before Trump was president. Trump Winery. Across the street from Trump Winery was Patricia Kluge's old mansion. And she's got 2 venues. There are 2 venues across the street from Trump. There's the barn, which is by the lake, and to call it a barn is really selling it short. It is one of the sexiest wedding facilities you will see overlooking a lake. And then up the hill is the little bit more pricey, literally Patricia Kluge's mansion. That's where we got married in. Soup to nuts, $65K. My father-in-law and mother-in-law live on Long Island, so they actually had more budgeted because they were pricing a wedding for their only daughter, my wife, on Long Island prices. And Long Island prices, it's a 6-figure, it's a 6-figure cost on Long Island. In Central Virginia, you can get it away for 5 figures, approaching 6. So in 2017, June 3rd, ours, soup to nuts, was $65K. I can't even imagine what it is on May 14th, May 14th, 2022, 5 years later. They're literally partners. It's not the preferred nomenclature to say husband and wife anymore, Gina. Partners. May 14th, open date, Veritas Vineyard. They're giving a $5K credit for someone that will buy the wedding date from them. I will talk about that today on the program. Have you ever heard, maybe you have, I found it fascinating. I have not heard a wedding date that is being for sale. Is there enough price? This is obviously a move of desperation. 45 days to the wedding, something came up, we don't know what came up, and they're trying to recoup some money. That's clearly what's happening here. But is there a marketplace, or is there a business opportunity, or is there enough price elasticity and price point where people can book a wedding, set up all the vendors, get everything finalized, and then package that entire thing and sell it to somebody else at a 15 or 20% markup? 15 or 20% markup on 65K. I mean, you're talking 20% on 65K, quick math, that's 13K in profit. I mean, is that a business that's going to materialize? We'll talk about that today on the I Love CVille Show. We will also highlight that Bang Tapas, the Tapas restaurant, right off the downtown mall on South Street, turned 20 years old earlier this week. And Marshall's going to 5th Street Station from the city of Charlottesville out to Albemarle County. A lot to cover on the show. You got the 2 ready to rock? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if the 2's ready to rock. Is it on screen with you? Put it on screen so people can see the Judah Wickower friendly face, and you can blow a kiss to your adoring fans. Wave to everybody. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right.
This is our director. 10 years of working alongside each other. Weddings, dates for sale. Marshall's going to 5th Street Station.
New business.
Lloyd Snook mentioned in passing that he's going to run for re-election. Michael Payne's Facebook post about the budget. Bang Tapas turning 20 years old. And the topic that you very much care about, Sam Brunelle, women's basketball, transferring from Notre Dame and is now a hot commodity on the college basketball market. My friend, we're locked and loaded today, aren't we?
We are. So much to talk about.
So much to talk about. All right, let's go to the lead of the program, Judah, if we go back to the one, and then I'll bring you in the mix. Check out the story on ilovecville.com. You check it out as well, so you have some ammunition when I bring you back in the mix here. I am going to make an effort on the I Love CVille Network every week to track. The I Love CVille Network will be, in a lot of ways, a listing service for businesses that are for sale in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia, Waynesboro, Augusta County, and the Shenandoah Valley. I am a business owner. I've also sold 3 businesses of my own, including Charlottesville Restaurant Week to the CVille Weekly in a 5-figure deal. We sold Charlottesville Restaurant Week to Bill Chapman and Blair Kelly in a 5-figure deal. And what was a pretty easygoing negotiation with Bill and Blair. So what I'm going to try to do is create a listing service or a platform for businesses that are for sale in Central Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley. I'm going to start today, and these businesses and the specs and nitty-gritty will be on ilovecville.com. Are they on ilovecville.com now? Oh, they're on ilovecville.com right now? The businesses we're going to talk about? Oh, good job. Very well done. Okay, well, thank you. So notable businesses for sale in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia. I very much enjoy championing local entrepreneurs and businesses. These listings caught my attention. Please email me, jerry@ilovecville.com, if you would like to be spotlighted on the network or if you're thinking about selling your business. The first one is Great Harvest Bakery in the McIntyre Plaza. Great Harvest Bakery in the McIntyre Plaza. And offer some ammunition here shortly about something that tickles your fancy here, J-Dubs. Great Harvest Bakery in McIntyre Plaza has an asking price of $225,000. You are not buying the real estate. Keith Woodard is not selling you that storefront. What you are buying potentially for an asking price of $225,000 is the customer list, the IP, some inventory, some FFE, furniture, fixtures, and equipment. I'll give you a few more specs from this potential transaction. Asking price for Great Harvest Bakery is $225K. Gross revenues of $552,000. These were pre-COVID revenues. $552 yearly gross revenue, asking price $225. Cash flow $46,000. Inventory $24K. Furniture, fixtures, and equipment $145,000 of furniture, fixtures, and equipment at Great Harvest Bakery. The thing that immediately struck me about this, gross revenues of $552K, profits of $46,000. You're looking at a profit margin that is tight. That is tight. You're working hard in this business. So you ask yourself, can you optimize the model and fatten the margin? That's the potential val prop that you can come in if you're an entrepreneur and say, can I optimize efficiencies here to fatten my margin? Gross revenues of $552K, profit margin 46. I mean, what is that? Quick math off the top of my head, I'd say that's about 8%. Let me bust out the calculator there and say 0.08. Yeah, look at that, pretty good at math. 8%, 8.1%. So Great Harvest for sale. Himalayan Fusion on the downtown malls for sale. Iron Poffles and Coffee, Catherine Matthews on Water Street. Her business is for sale. Some owner financing available for Iron Poffles and Coffee. Kilwins on the downtown malls for sale. The Lovin' Oven in Scottsville, Virginia. Judah. The Lovin' Oven is for sale. Scottsville, Virginia. The business has been around since 1974, the Lovin' Oven. The asking price is $135,000 for the Lovin' Oven. You are not buying the real estate. I have not mentioned a single business where the real estate is included. However, I will mention a couple where the real estate is included. The Lovin' Oven's been around since 1974. The furniture, the fixtures, and the equipment are included, and the asking price of the Lovin' Oven is $135,000 for a restaurant that's been around since 1974 and a brand that's been adored. We mentioned earlier in the week, Oliva. Make sure I didn't spell it. Did you? You did. Very nice. You took out that second I. Thank you. Oliva and Barracks Road Shopping Center is for sale. It has an asking price of $295,000, gross revenues of $328,000. It's a steep asking price, $295K asking, gross revenues $328,000, inventory of 20 G's, and furniture, fixtures, and equipment of $10K. That's in Barracks Road Shopping Center. You are not buying the storefront that Federal Realty has in Barracks Road Shopping Center. Rockfish Gap Outfitters. Heather Lamont Walker, friend of the program. Our politics align. Heather Lamont Walker, retired teacher. Her husband ran this business. Heather Lamont Walker, if you're following her on Facebook, she is reasonable and level-headed and from the school of common sense and fiscal conservative mentalities. Her family business, Rockfish Gap Outfitters in Waynesboro, is for sale. It has an asking price of $745,000. The real estate is included. The real estate, 5,851 square feet. Rockfish Gap Outfitters. Right down the road, Heather, right from Basic City. When we go and visit Basic City, we pass Rockfish Gap Outfitters there on the right. Am I correct on that, Heather Lamont Walker? The real estate's included in that one. Interestingly, and then I'm going to get your take here, so get that two-shot ready to go of what tickles your fancy. Interestingly, there's a blacksmithing business for sale. And my better half, if you're watching the show, this is the blacksmith business that's for sale in Keswick. So when we're coming from, say, Keswick Vineyards or Castle Hill, and instead of going all the way down Keswick Road and then taking a left on 250 to get to the house, sometimes we'll take that hypotenuse or the cut-through by Keswick Hall. And as we're taking that hypotenuse and that cut-through by Keswick Hall, We go through, we get to a stop sign behind Keswick Hall. There's a blacksmith business for sale. It's called Stokes of England Blacksmithing in Keswick, Virginia. This business is for sale. The asking price is $980,000. Gross revenues of $450K, and the real estate is included. The building is included. The real estate estimated value is $500,000. That means the owner is valuing his business at $480,000. Gross revenues again are $450,000. He will finance up to 25% of the purchase price. He is retiring, the owner of this business. Katie Pearl, we will get to your comments here in a matter of moments. So I will continue to highlight these. I want to create a platform, almost like a listing service, and champion and spotlight these businesses that are for sale in Central Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley. We'll get to your comments on these in a matter of moments. What jumps out to you from the story? And those are now on ilovecville.com. So if you want the specs, go to ilovecville.com and check them out. What jumps out to you, Two-Shot J-Dubs?
What jumps out at me?
I mean, I've prepped you
Yeah,
with
I
this
know.
question for the last 5 minutes, so you should have an answer ready to go.
Okay, well,
Literally, I've been saying, what tickles your fancy for the last 5 minutes?
Love and Oven looks like it's got some great chicken. It's making me hungry looking at their website.
Okay. How about anything else jump out to you about any of these listings? Any of these financials that we've been talking about?
Yeah, I'd love to have a blacksmithing business.
Okay. No.
That'd be pretty
900
fun.
and, 980,000.
Yeah.
What is the future of blacksmithing?
I mean, these people are doing it, right?
I mean, for sure. Gross revenues of $450K.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Certainly more high end now.
just look at their website. Looks like, I mean, you know, the fairly typical normal stuff you'd find in any home. I mean, it looks like they've got railings and chandeliers and, you know, whatever.
According to
Fences.
my intel, his primary clients are big time clients like Monticello and Montpelier. He's got celebrity clients. He has clients associated with destinations, historical infrastructures like Monticello and Montpelier, where blacksmithing and appearances are paramount. $980K for that one, with gross revenues of $450 for the Stokes of England Blacksmithing in Keswick, Virginia. We'll continue to highlight these. Katie Pearl asked this question: are they trying to make a profit or just trying not to lose their money? I'm guessing they want to just break even or just a $5,000 loss. That's a good question. Katie, I would say this. The ones that are food and beverage related are trying to recoup a little money and cut their losses. Selling an F&B business right now is no easy task, especially when that F&B business does not own the real estate. Because what exactly are you selling? You're selling the brand, the equipment, and the equity or goodwill that comes from the brand. Now, the businesses that are service-oriented businesses, Stokes of England, Rockfish Gap Outfitters, I think you got a little bit more meat on the bone there. You got network, vendors and purveyors that are going to be difficult to find, a more potentially loyal customer list, a less competitive landscape. I've said on this show the most competitive spaces of business in Central Virginia are restaurants and realtors. We are saturated with realtors in Central Virginia. Too many. We have, depending on who you ask, the 14th most restaurants per capita in the country, to the 8th most restaurants per capita in the country. I hear those two numbers consistently. So buying a restaurant when the competition is so significant may not be for everyone. But how many blacksmithing businesses do you know of? How many outdoor outfitters can you think of? The blacksmithing business and the outdoor outfitter, Rockfish and Stokes of England, the real estate is included in those deals. While it drives up the price, it's an asset that can help offset risk associated with purchase price. Those are intriguing. I literally via DM, just got another potential business listing. Let me vet your DM a little bit before I mention this on air. Okay? Doing this on the fly, ma'am, is going to be challenging. So let me vet this listing, and then I'll reach out to you via DM, ma'am, and then we'll see if we can highlight you again on the I Love CVille Network and what you have going on there. Let's go to the next topic, though. Did Lloyd Snook just announce his re-election campaign? Ginny Bixby of the Daily Progress was covering a stakeholders meeting yesterday at the Church of Incarnation. Can you Google where the Church of Incarnation is?
Yeah. I think it might be on...
Are you on a two-shot?
Yeah.
So people can see. Can you see where the Church of Incarnation is? If you
Sure.
could. Thank you kindly. Yesterday at the Church of Incarnation, there was an impact meeting. I love these acronyms. Impact. All caps, impact. An impact meeting is an interfaith social justice organization that pushes the city and county officials to take action on social issues. Did you find it?
It's on Incarnation Drive.
And whereabouts is that?
It's right off Branchlands.
Branchlands? So that's right off Route 29? Branchlands, there's a grocery store by Branchlands, right?
Yeah, you know where the conference center is? Hillsdale?
Hillsdale? It's close to Hillsdale?
I think so. Let's see.
So at this meeting, you have boards of supervisors there and city councilors there. And in this meeting, Snook is talking, Mayor Lloyd Snook, friend of the program, his law firm 25 feet away from the studio. I see this man nearly every day. Generally, Mayor Snook is sporting what, Judah, when you see him?
Shirt and tie, a jacket.
Jacket, shirt and tie, often, right?
He's a lawyer.
Yeah. Do you ever see him outside not wearing a shirt and tie and a jacket? I rarely do.
Yeah, no, I've
He's a
never
night
seen-
owl as well. He says in the meeting yesterday, he makes this comment, and it's about $3 million of allocation to affordable housing. And I'm surprised this was not a sidebar, or this wasn't a pull-out quote, or this wasn't the story itself. And I'm going to read it verbatim from Ginny Bixby's story in the Daily Progress. Quote, we're going to spend that kind of money on new projects. He's talking about $3 million that Impact wants to allocate for affordable housing. He says, but if you want a commitment, if you want a promise, if you want something you can take to the bank and yell at me when I run for re-election, I don't want to give that to you because that's not how government works, end quote. He literally says run for re-election. That is news. Did Lloyd Snook just announce his intentions for re-election? Mayor Snook, are you watching, sir? I know you watch the program often. Can you let us know or send me a DM if you're watching, Mayor Snook? That would mean the world to me. Shoot me a text if you could, sir. I think he just made his plans to run for re-election. Does that surprise you? Do you two-shotting it? I mean, you know Mayor Snook. We see him around the Macklin.
Am I surprised that he's... No, I don't know. I think if he feels he's doing a good job and he's in the right place, then why wouldn't he run for re-election?
Well, I think he would also agree with this. Mayor Snook is no spring chicken. Right? I mean, he's no spring chicken. Let's see if we can do and you know, folks living longer than ever for sure. Let's see, from an age standpoint. If I put the over-under on 70, would you take the over-under on 70? What would you take? 70 years old.
I would take the over.
You take the over? Can we see what the birthday is for Lloyd Snook? Can you find that? Can you do some quick Google to see if you can find that? You take the over on 70. Bill McChenzie, are you watching the program? Bill McChenzie, you went to school with Lloyd Snook. Wild Bill McChenzie. Can you let me know how old you think Mayor Snook is? In fact, I'm going to write it right here. Bill McChenzie, how old do you think Lloyd Snook is? Question mark. Enter. Publish. I just put that in the comment section on my Facebook page. Wild Bill McChenzie, can you let me know? Because you went to school with him, right? Wild Bill McChenzie? I think he just made his intentions known yesterday in passing, and the media didn't turn this into what I think is the story that he's running for re-election. I find that to be a story. I mean, I can confidently say that I do not believe Sena McGill is going to run again. Sena McGill, very similar to what we saw with Heather Hill at the end of her term. Heather Hill at the end of her term, you could tell that she was worn down, like demoralized from serving on council. Worn down and whittled down like a number 2 pencil. Same I'm seeing with Sena. Councilor McGill. I don't think she's running for re-election. Michael Payne's a young guy. And I believe this is, council and the pay that comes from serving on council is a critical component to Councilor Payne paying his bills. $18,000 for that. Mayor Snook is a lawyer. His name's on the nameplate along with his talented and dynamic and intelligent wives. I would not have guessed that he would run for re-election, and yes, I'm basing part of that on age. The over-under's on 70. You got a birthday?
Yeah.
You do? You got a birthday?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
He was born in 53.
So it's the under.
Yeah, it's under. He's almost,
69.
it's almost his birthday.
When's his birthday?
Do we really want to tell that online?
Why not? I mean, you found it on social media. You found it on the internet.
Yeah, but I got pretty good Google foo.
You're a talented Googler. You're a talented Googler. How about the month?
All right. Yeah, it's April.
Okay, so he's about to turn 69.
Yeah.
So when his term is up, and his term is up next year, December 31, he will be 70 plus years old.
Yeah.
When his term is up. Because it's up December 31, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And if he runs for re-election, which I think he just said he did, it's a 4-year campaign. That means he would be nearly 75 when the second term is over. Nearly 75.
Yeah.
So I think he just said he's running again. And I got no beef with Mayor Snook. I think he's been a stabilizing force for council after a tumultuous 4 years of Nakia Walker on council, where it was every day I'm getting on social media, checking out her page, saying, what is the mayor of Charlottesville going to do next? I've asked for years on this network, I want local government to be boring and consistent and in the background. And finally, we're getting that. Now, it's interesting, Snook made this comments to the paper about not being held to promises. You know, he says, Bixby, I'm all in favor of $3 million, but if we're going to spend that kind of money on new projects, If you want me to make a commitment, if you want me to make a promise, if you want something you can take to the bank and yell at me when I run for a re-election, I don't want to give you that because that's not how government works. The reason he made that comment, you know the reason why he made that comment? Because last year, before Youngkin and the General Assembly went Republican, heavier Republican, Mayor Snook and Michael Payne and much of council promised the $75 million for reconfiguration for Buford. Now they were basing that promise last year on a sales tax referendum and a Democratic governor and a Democratic General Assembly in Richmond. And the expectation was the Democrats, McAuliffe, and the General Assembly would get market share. And if they won and they dominated the Assembly and they dominated the governor's mansion, then this referendum, the 1% sales tax increase, the money strictly allocated to school improvement, would have been fast-tracked and approved, and then the budget would have been there for Buford reconfiguration. So they made promises on the record, and you can go back and check the tape. They made promises on the record saying that they would approve and budget Buford. That's why you see a lot of the folks in the city of Charlottesville, school board, a lot of folks in the city of Charlottesville, livable, what's the group? Certainly the Socialists of Charlottesville, certainly the school board of Charlottesville. The group is Livable CVille, saying, hey, you promised last year that you would fund Buford school reconfiguration. Snook now got burned, and he's saying that's not how government works, because he got burned when McAuliffe lost, Youngkin won, and General Assembly got heavier Republican and less Democrat. And that 1% sales tax referendum didn't make it to the Charlottesville voters. He assumed it would, because he assumed Virginia voters were going to go McAuliffe and Democrats, because that's what the track record has been in the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
So he's hedging. That's called hedging. It's called political strategy. That's called political positioning. That's called not latching. Do you latch a horse to a wagon? How do you tie a horse to a wagon? Is it latching? Is it hooking?
I've never done it myself.
Do you lasso a horse to a wagon?
You definitely wouldn't do that.
Do you saddle a horse to a wagon?
I think you just tie them.
You lasso them?
No, you don't.
You latch them?
Lasso them.
You tie them.
I think it depends on the wagon.
We're learning about blacksmithing and wagoning here.
Yeah. We'll be able to start our own.
Harness. Kevin Yancey says you harness. King of Waynesboro, Kevin Yancey. You harness a horse to a wagon.
That sounds right.
Harness sounds right. You harness. Thank you. You harness. Susan Seidel Bashline says you harness, Jerry. You harness. I'm sorry. I don't know much about horsing and wagoning. Georgia Gilmer says, and Georgia Gilmer, the Queen of G, we've dubbed her the Queen of G. She says on one of 15 Facebook pages this show is airing on, 15 Twitter accounts, 15 Facebook pages, LinkedIn, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, ILoveCVille.com. She says, Jerry, 70 years old is not old. Look at the folks in Congress. Our president is 79, Biden. Trump is 75.
Mm-hmm.
Touche, Georgia Gilmer, Queen of G. Give you props. I'm going to respond to your comment right here and say, Georgia Gilmore. How do you spell touche?
Touch.
E-E?
I think it's just a single E with a
with
an accent.
What's that thing called?
It's called an accent.
Accent. Touche. I just said touche. Enter. Touche. Do that finger again with the accent on it. Yeah, I like that finger. Okay, that's a fair point. I will counter that point from the Queen of G, Georgia Gilmer, and say this. Yes, people are living longer than ever. Yes, Lloyd Snook has the hustle and chutzpah of What's a famous lawyer in the movies?
Famous and lawyer.
Of Tom
in
Cruise from The Firm.
movies.
Lloyd Snook has the hustle and chutzpah of Tom Cruise from The Firm. That was a great movie, The Firm. Don't you think? That was one of Tom Cruise's best. Tom Cruise is
I
one of
haven't
the
seen
best.
that movie in a long time. I thought you were going to say Tom Cruise in.
Mitch McDeere was his character. John Grisham movie.
Yeah.
John's son is in the building right next door.
Yeah.
We see Mr. John Grisham frequently. We should get John on the show, Mr. Grisham on the show. Yes, Mayor Snook has the hustle and chutzpah of Mitch McDeere, Tom Cruise of The Firm. But I will say this. Is the future of the municipality best directed and guided by mid and upper 70s leadership?
As opposed to young people?
As opposed to an array or a more diverse leadership
Well, he can't be
demographic.
everything.
No, I get that.
Well, how is he going to be diverse
I'm just saying.
or an array?
I'm just saying. Counterpoint that. Let me add this point. Name the last city councilor to win back-to-back elections. What Charlottesville city councilor? I got one. Viewers and listeners. Was the last city councilor to win a back-to-back election? Kathy Galvin did it, right? Kathy Galvin's come on the show. We love Kathy Galvin. Kathy Galvin, do a quick Google search right there. She was a multi-term city councilor. She was the last one, right? I believe she was the last one. Was KG the last one? On November 3rd, 2000, yeah, she won re-election, second term. KG did. And then she tried to challenge Sally Hudson as a delegate. KG, I believe, was the last multi-term counselor in the city of Charlottesville. Love KG. Kathy Galvin, we love you. One of our fans just walked by. Did you wave? See him?
I just saw his tail
He
end.
gave us the thumbs up. love when they do that. The thumbs up. Kathy Galvin was the last multi-term counselor. Queen of G says, although speaking of the old folks in Congress, it's time for them to move on.
Yeah,
A lot of truth to that.
got to agree there.
Yeah, it's time to go. It's time to go. Are you in favor of term limits?
Oh yeah,
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 term limits.
yeah. I think it's.
I'm in favor of term limits.
I think it would be a great way of getting people who are actually interested in service, rather than making their millions
career.
on backroom stock deals and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well said. The tough part with local government, with council and board of supervisors, is the job is so demanding from a time consumption standpoint.
You've got to have the money to be able to take the position.
You've got to have the independence from a work standpoint, or have the financial means, the work flexibility, or be retired.
Yep.
So the way it's set up, I mean, let's cut to the chase. You got Board of Supervisors, Diantha McKeel, Donna Price, Ann Malik. Right, there's three that have financial flexibility, nearing retirement, if not semi. And
I don't know any other jobs. So
up there in age, you know. Marshals to Fifth Street Station, Kelly Jackson mentioned that to us yesterday. Marshals to Fifth Street Station is some big news. It's going from the city to the county. The city loses the tax base. It's going from a forgotten shopping center to one that still has energy and life in Fifth Street Station.
Mm-hmm.
Marshall's and Fifth Street Station is undoubtedly, you would say, going to create more customer flow and traffic than AC Moore, a craft store. The treasure hunting experience at Marshall's gets a lot of people in the doors.
Treasure hunt experience?
Yeah, it's a treasure hunt.
Finding that
Gem in the rough.
Yeah,
You
interesting.
know? You go to Marshall's or a TJ Maxx, and you're not necessarily. What are the other ones? Is my better half watching? What are the other ones, sweetheart, that you go to for the treasure hunting experience? Marshall's, in a TJ Maxx. Is Pier? No, what's the one that you really like? The furniture store one, not Pier 1. Over there by Staples. What's the one by Staples that has furniture and stuff?
Which Staples?
29. Do you do much furniture shopping? What's the other one on Route 29? 29 Furniture. Gosh, obviously I don't do much of this.
Staples?
Staples is a supply shop.
I know what Staples is, but
What is
I'm
it?
thinking
Not Grand Home Furnishing. What is the one that's kind of like that treasure hunting experience that all the folks like, that you can find gems in the rough? Home Goods. Kevin Yancey. Yes, Home Goods. Thank you, King of Waynesboro, Kevin Yancey. Thank you, Georgia Gilmer. Erin King, Queen of Western Almaro's finest graduate, the Queen of Scottsville. Home Goods, Home Goods. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, EK. Home Goods, my wife. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jennifer, thank you. Home Goods. Home Goods is beloved. Home Goods, Home Goods, Home Goods. It's a treasure hunting experience. You go in there not necessarily with a plan of attack. You go there with the plan to buy, not necessarily a specific plan of attack of what to buy.
Yeah.
But Marshall's going to Fifth Street Station will create more customer flow and traffic there than a craft store. Now, I want to highlight this. Fifth Street Station and that Fifth Street corridor, especially at drive-in and drive-home time, your parents live down that way. I used to live in Redfields. One of the reasons we sold our home in Redfields and moved to eastern Albemarle County was our trepidation and concern of traffic patterns and the massive density that's coming to that side of town. We know Habitat for Humanity is revamping and redeveloping Southwood big time, and it's going to be way more dense from a people standpoint than it is right now. And we know that the Winnington, Fifth Street corridor still has development that's coming down the pipe. So Marshall's adding to that traffic congestion is something to be mindful of. Have you been down there at drive home time and the traffic has been down Fifth Street?
I've been down there close to around that time.
The Fifth Street corridor in general is pretty brutal, turning into Fifth Street Station.
Yeah, there's a fair bottleneck getting in there, but it could be a lot worse.
I mean, it's pretty bad. And wait till Wawa's going to the Hardys. Wait till Wawa takes over. Wawa is taking over the Hardys. So you're going to have a Wawa right by Tiger Fuels Market, that gas station.
That's going to be awkward. I mean, how would you get in there?
That's what I'm saying. You got Wawa coming, you got Marshall's coming, and you got Habitat for Humanity doing 7x the density in Southwood. Plus Kyle Redinger is doing his development on Fifth Street. I mean, you got some serious traffic snarls happening over there. Serious traffic snarls happening over there. Just need to highlight that for the record. A couple more that I want to mention. The canceled wedding date. We've talked about this already. Oh, Katie, you were referencing the canceled wedding date. Got it. So Ray Cadell sent me this. There's partners that had planned for a wedding at Veritas Vineyard on May 14th, and they are now advertising the sale of their wedding date because they unfortunately are not going to be able to get married on May 14th. They have the location picked out, Veritas Vineyard. They have the date, May 14th, and they have the following vendors already paid, locked and loaded. A wedding photographer, a melodious string quartet. Melodious. It's a good adjective, melodious.
Yeah.
A melodious string quartet, Black Tie Entertainment, which is a DJ. My wife has confirmed that that is the DJ we used. Willow Branch Flowers, and Incredible Edibles Bakery. So dude, location, photographer, band, DJ, flowers, and bakery. 6 vendors. And if someone buys the date from them, they're giving them a 5G credit.
Taking 5,000 off of.
Take 5,000 off. You just got to turn it around in 45 days.
Yeah. If anybody's on the fence about getting married, now's your chance.
Now's your chance. Get Grandma Josephine from New Hampshire and get Uncle Thomas to come in from Naples, Florida. May 14th is your date on Veritas at Veritas, and you get a 5G discount.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck. And we wish the people luck in the sale of their wedding date. 2 other items here. 3 other items. Bang Tapas turned 20 years old. The Tapas restaurant on the downtown mall, right off the downtown mall on South Street. 20 years old. That is cause for celebration. If you're a restaurant and you can make it to 20 years old in the Charlottesville downtown mall and the city of Charlottesville and in this saturated market, you are doing something right.
Yeah.
Their cocktails are banging. If you're looking for a date spot, Mas Tapas often gets the sex appeal and the brand recognition of the best first date in the Charlottesville-Albemarle County area, but Bang Tapas also should be in that niche or category or echelon. I took my wife first date to Mas, but we've had many a good evening at Bang Tapas. Mm-hmm. Great cocktails,
Yeah.
vegetarian. Why you got that smirk? What's a smirk?
Okay.
No smirk?
No, not really.
I thought it was
I mean, it's a great place. The lighting is a little bit low.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Date?
No, I haven't been there on a date, but I've been there, and it would be a great place to take a date. Like
Would
I
you
said,
go,
the
family?
lighting's a little bit low. Yeah, I think so.
Did you get some cocktails?
It's been a long time. I don't remember what I drank there. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, you got.
I don't know if I got a cocktail. I might have gotten something like a
beer.
either a beer or just something simple like a I don't know, like a vodka tonic.
Okay. 20 years old for Bang. Sam Brunelle is transferring from Notre Dame. She has had an injury-plagued career at Notre Dame in South Bend. She's the Wee Monroe High School graduate. She played for Jess Shiflett at Wee Monroe High School. Interestingly, I worked alongside Jess Shiflett at ESPN Radio years ago. She is leaving South Bend and has entered the transfer portal and is pursuing a new spot for her final 2 years of eligibility. She is a talented player. She was all-ACC freshman performer. For her career for Notre Dame, she averaged 10 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, and shot 43% from the field. She started all 31 games as a freshman, made the all-freshman team, and averaged 14 points a game her freshman season. She has been plagued by injuries. If I was the University of Virginia, I would be pursuing Sam Brunelle like right now. Here's an opportunity to get a starter and an opportunity to get local butts and seats at the John Paul Jones Arena, a team that's been an afterthought since Debbie Ryan retired. There's been 2 coaches since Debbie Ryan retired, 2, and they have performed meagerly. The new coach, Coach Amaka Agugwa Hamilton, please go after Sam Brunelle. I'm begging you to go after Sam Brunelle. Lastly, I will encourage anyone that's watching this program to please read Michael Payne's Facebook post on his page. So top his Facebook page right now, and it shines a light on the precarious budget position that we are in the city of Charlottesville. To say the budget is precarious is an understatement. Desperate times are calling for potentially desperate measures. Certainly as the school board of Charlottesville, the socialists of Charlottesville, and as livable CVille in Charlottesville are trying to use their collective voices to demand a $75 million school reconfiguration project that the budget cannot afford or support. We think the tax rate increase will go to the tune of 2, maybe 3 cents. We believe through our back channels that council is not going to greenlight a 10-cent tax rate increase and further gentrify this community. Please read Michael Payne's Facebook post. And please go to ilovecville.com right now and check out the post titled Notable Businesses for Sale in Charlottesville and Albemarle County in Central Virginia. I think you will find it fascinating. Anything you want to add before we close?
No, I haven't read his post yet, so.
Did a good job today,
Thank you.
as always. Do you want to do your signature sign-off?
No.
You don't like it?
Not really.
Why not?
I don't know.
You don't like
It's
it?
cheesy,
It's not cheesy.
goofy. What? And that is the news.
I think it's fantastic. That's fantastic. You don't like the signatures? I think the signature sign-off is fantastic. And that is the news.
There you go.
It was great. Signature sign-off is great. Thank you for joining us, guys. Judah Wickower and Jerry Miller on the I Love CVille Show. We're back tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. with Real Talk with our friend Keith Smith and the I Love CVille Show at 12:30 tomorrow. Take care. And that is the news. I think it's excellent.